What's up YouTube, it's Azure Option here, and I'm going to be starting up a new series which I'm going to call Spellbook Tips and Advanced Plays, and basically it's going to be a series of me just giving you guys a few tips and a few plays and combos to help you with your Spellbook game. And this is going to be the first episode, and the first episode is going to be about the Grand Spellbook Tower, Spellbook Star Hall, and building these two in a chain when they're destroyed simultaneously. So in this example, I'm the Spellbook player here, and I've got the Grand Spellbook Tower face up on the field. I have Spellbook Star Hall with 2 counters on it, and I also have a Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, and my opponent is a Agent player. This is really just like my other account, obviously Alnair too. So yeah, my opponent is an Agent player, and they have the Agent of Creation and Venus, and they also have Shining Elf, and for the purpose of the example, this is like turn 1, turn 2, and they paid 1,000 life points to activate Venus's effect. For you guys that aren't familiar with Shining Elf's effect, it reads when your opponent normal special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card. That monster loses 500 attack. So it's important to note that this is a when and you can effect, meaning that it can miss the timing, which will be important throughout this video. So for this example, let's just say it's the Agent player's turn, and they activate Heavy Storm. So Heavy Storm resolves because there's no effect that can be activated. So Heavy goes to the graveyard, so does the Grand Spellbook Tower, and so does Star Hall, which has 2 counters, which we'll note. And because our opponent has a Shining Elf in the field, and we also know that 1600 attack is the highest monster he has on the field, so he has 2 monsters at 1600 attack, which is Shining Elf and the Agent of Creation Venus. And I can tell you right now that the highest level 4 monster, because that's the highest level I can summon off of the tower, is Lila and Magical Exemplar, both at 1700 attack. So when we build our chain, it will be more optimal for us to summon a monster so that Shining Elf can't reduce its attack points. So in this example, if we used the Grand Spellbook Tower at chain link 1 and then put Spellbook Star Hall at chain link 2, we'll add whatever we want as long as it's a level 2 or lower spellcaster to our hand with Star Hall. And with the Grand Spellbook Tower, we'll summon our Exemplar, and Shining Elf will then be able to activate its effect to reduce its attack by 500, and then it will become 1300, and then our opponent will be able to attack over it with Venus and attack over our Spellbook Magician with Shining Elf. So it's more optimal for us to instead make Spellbook Star Hall chain link 1 and the Grand Spellbook Tower chain link 2. And what this will do is that first we'll summon our Exemplar off of the Grand Spellbook Tower, and now we'll add a card to our hand with Spellbook Star Hall. So it had 2 counters, so for this example let's just add a Veiler. And what will happen now is that our opponent cannot activate Shining Elf's effect because it's a when and a you can effect, meaning that the last thing to happen in the game state must be the summon of the monster who you want to target with Shining Elf's effect. So basically our opponent misses the time and then can't use Shining Elf's effect to hit our Magical Exemplar. You could kind of say like they missed the opportunity to do so. And if you're wondering why they couldn't do it as soon as Spellbook Tower summoned Magical Exemplar, it's because the next card to resolve would be Spellbook Star Hall, and our opponent cannot activate any effects whilst a chain is resolving, and you can't either. So while the chain is resolving, Spellbook Tower would summon Magical Exemplar, and then Spellbook Star Hall will then have to would then have to add Effect Veiler in this case to our hand, and Shining Elf will miss the timing. So this will be a more optimal outcome for us because our opponent won't be able to attack with a Magical Exemplar with Shining Elf and the Agent of Creation Venus. And here we have a slightly different situation where we still have the Grand Spellbook Tower face up on the field, we still have Spellbook Star Hall with 2 counters, and we still have our Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, and our opponent still has the Agent of Creation Venus. The only differences are that we have a Lila on the field, which milled a power, a judgment, and a master during our end phase, and our opponent has a gachi instead of a shining elf. And it doesn't really matter for this example whether this is a gachi or shining elf. It just makes it a lot easier for me to explain, because it will have a lot less interaction with the example. And it's really the same thing as well with the spellbooks. It isn't really necessary for me to have milled in particular all three of like spellbooks with different names. It's just a lot easier for me to explain the example by doing this. So let's say our opponent activates their Heavy Storm again. So Heavy resolves, destroying our spellbook tower, and also destroying our spellbook star hall with 2 counters. So here we want to summon Reaper Prophecy. Let's just say we want to summon Reaper Prophecy, and Reaper Prophecy says that when it's normal or special summoned, depending on the number of spellbook spell cards in our graveyard, we can activate a number of its effects. It's not really important to really read out the effects which it activates. Basically all of them would activate because we satisfy all of the conditions, and we have 5 different names in our graveyard. So the only question becomes basically in which order do we want to build our chain. Do we want to make Star Hall Chainlink 1 and Tower Chainlink 2? Do we want to make Tower Chainlink 1 and Star Hall Chainlink 2? Is there maybe one which we don't want to activate because of some reason? Well, the answer basically is that if we make we basically want to activate all of the effects because, you know, why not? It's 3 pluses basically. So we know we're going to activate both of them. And if we activate Star Hall at Chainlink 1 and then Tower at Chainlink 2, what's going to happen is that Tower will summon our Reaper Prophecy at Chainlink 2, and then Star Hall will resolve, add in our Spellbook Magician or Effect Fader because it had 2 counters, and the last thing to occur in the game state will be Star Hall add in our Spellcaster to our hand. So Reaper Prophecy will miss the timing and it'll miss the opportunity basically to activate its effect or its effects if we make Spellbook Tower Chainlink 2. So what we need to do is make Spellbook Tower Chainlink 1, and this will basically ensure that the last thing to happen in the game state will be Reaper Prophecy's summon. So we make Star Hall Chainlink 2, we make Star Hall Chainlink 2 and we make Tower Chainlink 1. So it will basically resolve like this. We add our Spellcaster to our hands, so we add our Effect Fader with Star Hall, and now we summon our Reaper Prophecy at Chainlink 1. And the last thing to happen is the summon of Reaper Prophecy so we can activate its effects. So we can add whatever we want. Let's just say we want to add a Divine Judgment, and we can summon Prophecy Destroyer, and our Reaper Prophecy will gain 600 attack. And as you can see, it made a big difference because if we made Tower Chainlink 2, we wouldn't have been able to use Reaper Prophecy's effects. So chain building is very important. So this is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be trying to upload this once every week, and I hope you really take this into account when you're playing this, both online and in real life. And this is Azure Eruption signing out, and I hope you have a nice day.